A photograph may convey more information than 1,000 words, and occasionally catches a moment that is bittersweet and permanently etched in a person's memory. This man snapped this picture of himself on a sunny day, but a few minutes later, a terrible incident occurred. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. In 1995, the Sunday morning was gorgeous. It was already becoming late in the evening, and the flowers were in full bloom. As a single father, Zhao Hongbo was well aware that it was the ideal moment to meet and shoot stunning photos, so he made the decision to go to the riverfront with his family for a stroll in the evening. Had he been aware that the one choice would cause his family a significant deal of suffering, he would have undoubtedly recommended another activity. In order to begin planning, he had to inform Chu, his wife, about the nighttime walk. Then, as she was preparing juice, Zhao crept into the kitchen to join her at the counter. When he arrived, he gave her a firm embrace. "You look so stunning today, darling." He smiled affectionately and said, "My love, what's the secret to your beauty?" "The key to my beauty is you, my darling. If you ever leave me, I'm afraid I'll turn ugly," she answered. "You are aware that I will never abandon you." "Why would you say something like that?" Zhao asked. "We swore to be together until death do us part, but we won't know when that is going to be until the very last moment." After expressing that heartbreaking reality, Chu inhaled deeply before asking Zhao who he believed would pass away first between the two of them. She refused to allow the husband change the subject since he didn't like it. "We will live very long," she replied, cupping Zhao's cheek with a charming grin. "I shall pass away a few hours ahead of you when we reach 100. All I want to do is go first. Make a vow to let me die first, since I would be in a lot of suffering if you leave me before then." Gazing at his wife, Zhao pondered what had happened to her. "Why are you suddenly talking about this?" Zhao scowled slightly. However, he grudgingly agreed to her request and swore that he would wait for her to leave first, allowing her to pass away a few hours before him. But that would quickly be reduced to mere platitudes. After putting that discussion out of his mind, Zhao explained to his wife why he had first entered the kitchen. He felt it would be wonderful if they could stroll by the Yongding River on this lovely day. Chu instantly accepted his plan because she was an adventurous and fun-loving person. The duo had first bonded because of her spontaneity. After meeting on vacation, the two had made it their mission to turn every moment of their spare time into a little adventure. In order to support himself and his cherished wife, who meant the world to him, Zhao had been working longer hours since the arrival of their son. Zhao made sure he unwinded and enjoyed himself with his family on Saturdays and Sundays because he often worked long hours throughout the week. Chu had already finished all the arrangements for the trip by 1:30 p.m. She brought a basket of food and a picnic blanket. After waking up, their 1-year-old boy was eager to have a pleasant day with his family. Zhao drove off when the three of them climbed into the family vehicle. They were unaware that one of them would not return home. The family arrived at the Yongding River, which is situated in the Xijinshan district of the city, around an hour later. Even though there weren't many people there, everyone was beaming. They all appeared content and enthusiastic. This would not endure, unfortunately. In less than half an hour, chaos would ensue. Holding hands, Zhao and his spouse strolled around the neighborhood. The two dreamed of their future together while remembering the wonderful moments they had spent together. They were excited to explore all next phases of their lives together and couldn't wait to discover what life had in store for their small family. 3 children were playing a game of truth or dare a few meters from the family and quite near the river. However, since they were children, they all complied with the regulations without considering the repercussions. All they wanted was to enjoy themselves. The children had to plunge into the river and remain submerged for as long as they could in order to win the game. Cookies would be awarded to the last person to exit the water. The oldest seized the lead and sprinted for the bank, eager to win. "Why are you holding back?" he shouted. "If you don't jump in, the cookies will all be mine," to the two other children, a girl and a boy, who were beginning to question the entire game. They were apparently inspired by their friend's bravery as they saw him plunge into the river. As a result, they too leaped into the water while on their heels. They had just intended to remain at the edge, but since they couldn't swim, the water started to bring them to the river's deeper section. Now terrified, the children started to scream for aid, knowing that they may die if they didn't get out of the water quickly. As soon as Zhao and his family heard the youngsters screaming, they stopped photographing near the river. Zhao snapped this final picture before realizing there were children in the water. He started removing his shoes without thinking in order to save them. "Hang in there! I'm coming!" Ready to help the boys, Zhao screamed as he removed his jacket. He started walking in the direction of the river. His wife abruptly pulled him back after he had just gone a few steps. "Are you required to leave?" With fright in her eyes, Chu added, "We could call the authorities. If we wait for them, it could be too late." After saying, "I'll bring them out and I'll be with you soon," he kissed his wife's forehead and ran to the river. Other individuals saw the danger and followed Zhao as he ran in the direction of the kids. Zhao pushed the girl to the shallow section of the river after reaching for her first. He then made a U-turn to save the other two lads. The onlookers pulled the elder child to dry shore after he shoved him to safety. Sadly, things were about to go horribly wrong just as it came time to save the final one. They had just escaped a deep section of the river when Chu realized something was amiss. Zhao had placed the youngster over his shoulder and began to pull him out of the water. Zhao appeared to be drowning. His shoulders were hidden from her view. However, he somehow reached the youngster in the middle of the river, where he could be readily rescued by others. Another onlooker noticed that the youngster was now by himself and jumped in to help him get to safety. But Zhao was nowhere to be seen. "The man who saved me got tired," the young child remarked, sobbing as he reached dry land. "He's down there." Chu made an instant call for assistance, and emergency crews and policemen arrived. After hours of searching the river, Zhao was finally discovered dead in the water around 5:30 p.m. that night. To save the children, he had sacrificed his life. Chu was still grieving the loss of her husband, so she initially refused to do interviews, but eventually she spoke up. "It's odd that we talked about dying before my spouse died. Perhaps it was only a terrible coincidence, or perhaps I simply had a hunch something would happen. He said he would release me first. It's acceptable if he didn't follow through on his promise. I can see why he took that action. I'm pleased with my spouse. He is a hero." In an interview, she stated, "I'm happy that he died for a greater good, but I miss him so much." Later, the local administration acknowledged Zhao's valiant actions. Thousands of people thanked him, according to Beijing Daily and Beijing Youth Daily, and the relatives of the children he saved gathered around his wife and son for lifetime support because of his altruistic character. Heroes don't always wear capes. Some people are merely parents who would sacrifice everything for their children, or even the children of others. If a child was drowning, would you leap into the water to save them? How would you tell your child that their father was a hero after he died? Tell us in the space provided below. I appreciate you viewing, and I hope to see you again soon. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.